Hello, friends. This is our fourth lecture on the Paradise Lost. I start from line 54 and I will stop at line 83. I recite both, I start reciting, but his doom reserved him to more wrath. I explain this one line. We were talking about Saturn. So the destiny, the bad luck, the doom of Saturn reserved him for more wrath, means more anger of God. For now the thought both of lost happiness and lasting pain. And now what was the idea, thought in his mind? What was Saturn thinking? Lost happiness and lasting pain. Because he was in heaven, he was the chief angel, archangel. Now he had lost that dignity of being the chief angel in God. And now what was there in heaven? Lasting pain. Pain which will never end. They are immortal, so they will live always. They will live forever. They will not die. But this pain burning in hell will continue. Torments him. This troubles him. This gives him pain. Round he throws his baleful eyes. And he was lying on that crust of hell, on that burning fire, and he throws his dirty, hateful eyes, baleful means hateful eyes, that witnessed huge affliction and dismay. So his eye had witnessed, witness means had seen, huge means large, affliction means sorrow, suffering, and dismay means disappointment, mixed with obdurate pride. And his suffering, his disappointment was mixed with his pride, and that pride was obdurate. Obdurate means haughty, very haughty. You could not convince him. And steadfast hate, and he hated God. Steadfast. Steadfast is continuous. Unending hate he had for God. At once, as far as angels can, he views. So immediately when he came to his consciousness, he could see as far as angels can means vision or his eyesight. He views means as far as his sight goes, because angels could see to a greater distance. So he looks around him. The dismal situation, waste and wild. The dismal means disappointing situation, waste and wild, because in heaven everything was orderly, everything was okay, but here everything was destroyed. There was just nothing but fire and fire burning, and wild means uncontrollable. A dungeon horrible. Horrible means which we are afraid of, fearsome. And dungeon is a place where nobody can reach, where it is dark, where nobody can live healthy. On all sides round as one great furnace flamed. So it was burning like a furnace. And what is a furnace? Furnace is a burning, is that place where even iron is melted. Something burning, and burning, to make clay or to give shape to iron, to make things in factories. They have furnace burning there. So flamed means burning, flames of fire. So they were burning as one great furnace flamed, yet from those flames no light, but rather darkness visible. So there were flames burning in hell, but there was no light, because flames give light, but here the fire was different. It was a fire which did not give them light, but rather darkness visible. So that darkness which was visible. Now these are two opposite things. Darkness cannot be visible. But here the poet is using that, okay, If you could see, then it was only darkness and nothing else. This figure of speech is called the oxymoron. We shall discuss sometime oxymoron in some detail, and if you are curious to know the oxymoron, the spelling is Oxymoron. Oxymoron. Please refer to a glossary of literary terms by M.H. Abrams. Please refer to a glossary of literary terms by M.H. Abrams. So the darkness visible served only to discover sides of woe. So this darkness which helped him see, he could see, find out, discover means find out sides, scenes of woe. Woe means sorrow, misery, unhappiness, regions of sorrow. Means on that gulf of fire in hell, all his comrades, all his friends, all rebel angels were lying. Regions of sorrow, doleful shades means disappointing shades where peace and rest can never dwell, because it is hell, and peace and happiness can never live in hell. Hope never comes, and hope never comes to hell. That comes to all means hope comes to us, because we did not fight against God. We can be hopeful, but the devils, the rebel angels could never be hopeful. But torture without end, that comes to all, means everybody is hopeful in this world, but the rebel angels could never be hopeful. But torture without end, and so there is perpetual, means continuous torture, suffering, misery, unhappiness, burning, still urges, and fiery deluge. Urges means like if I have desire to drink water, but I don't have water. Hell is burning, you are always thirsty, but there is no water. So, and they cannot die, they are immortal. So this has become a greatest misery, and a fiery deluge. And so whatever they had, it was a type of flood, devastation, but it was only fire and fire, fed with the ever burning sulfur consumed. And sulfur is, a chemical which we get when we burn things. So sulfur unconsumed, so it is half burnt smell of sulfur. And if you go to a laboratory, chemistry laboratory, you will see that sulfur is very, very bad in smell. So that smell was there in hell, and such place eternal justice means God had prepared for those rebellious. So God had prepared this hell for those rebel angels, where there was no light, where there was darkness, and where there was half burnt smell of smell of half burnt sulfur. For those rebellious, here their prison ordained, and God had planned the prison for those rebel angels in utter darkness, and their portion set. So they were in total darkness, and their portion set as far removed from God and light of heaven. So we remember that they had fallen for 9 days from heaven to hell, and so they were very far from the light of God, from love of God, and everything that belonged to God. They were far away, and they were suffering for the wrong which they had done, as from the center thrice to the utmost pole. Oh, how unlike the place from whence they fell. So they had, moved very far, means the distance of hell was 3 times the distance which was between heaven and earth. So look how, as it has already been explained, that they kept on falling and falling for 9 days, 24 into 9 hours. See, There the companions of his fall, overwhelmed with floods and whirlwinds of tempestuous fire. So, there in hell, what was there? His companions, his friends, his comrades, his fellow angels, they were completely taken over. There were floods and whirlwinds, but not of water, of fire, which was blowing around. He soon discerns means finds out, he could make it out. And weltering by his side, one next himself in power and next in crime. So one was, he was rolling over fire. He notices another rebel angel. One next himself in power. So the Satan was the chief enemy, or you can say in heaven he was the archangel, but next to him, another assistant of Satan, he finds him there. Next himself in power and next in crime. And because Satan took the leadership, so he was the arch enemy of God, and this man, this angel whom Satan notices, is lying next to him, and he was also next to him in crime. Means after Satan, his crime was highest, long after known in Palestine and named Beelzebub. So this angel, this rebel angel, was identified later time in Palestine, and he was given the name Beelzebub. In heaven his name was different, but in hell he was called Beelzebub, and later on he appeared in Palestine, which is near Israel, and he was called Beelzebub. So this is another devil, name for devil. The arch enemy, to whom the arch enemy and thence in heaven called Satan, with bold words breaking with horrid silence, thus began. So when Satan noticed his deputy, Beelzebub, because he had supported Satan fight against God. So when Satan saw this Beelzebub rolling over fire, he broke the fearful silence of hell, and he started saying like this. And I think we should stop here. This is line number 83. The next lesson we shall begin with line 84 and we shall end with line 126. So that will be our lecture 5 after this lecture number 4. Thank you, friends.